Greetings, my peeps, and welcome to the All Things Basketball Podcast with your boy GD. In this episode, I'll be doing my WNBA recap. I'll go through all the teams, I'll go through all the picks, well, just about all the picks, and break it all down, plus a little sidebar about a few things that have happened after the draft. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Okay, guys, it's your boy GD back with All Things Basketball with GD podcast. And guys, in this episode, I'll be doing my WNBA draft recap, go through every single team, and we'll talk about all the picks. We'll delve into it a little bit because, with the WNBA, some of these picks will get cut because of roster space. We haven't expanded yet, but, the league hasn't expanded yet. And actually, I'll talk about that as well. So let's get right into it, guys. So Monday evening was the draft on April 15th, a draft I actually attended. I was there, guys. It was great. The place was electric. And actually, I got my guy, Raphael of the White Label American podcast, the one who did my 200th episode live. Got him to come with me, so shout out to him for accompanying me on that. And the place was electric, guys. There was such a buzz in the room about the WNBA and the things moving forward for them. Kathy Engelberg, she was up there touting how perhaps they may expand to 16 teams. So it's a lot of buzz as far as that goes. Whether it comes to fruition, we'll see what happens. But yeah, the place was dynamite, guys. Got to see a few of the players there. Actually, on my way out, leaving, I saw Sato Sabali of the Dallas Wings. And, she has the shoulder injury. So, of course, my phone, the battery went out because I was taking all the videos. You can see I posted all the clips just about on my IG, on my Facebook, and on YouTube as well. Still in the process of doing that. So I saw on the way to leaving the venue, I said, wish you well with your shoulder, get well soon. She was like, oh, thank you. So so that's a tall girl, boy. She's like 6'3", and she was towering over me. Well, mind you, she had her high heels on as well. But so I was able to see some players and so forth. But nonetheless, like I said, the night was electric. Everything went all well and good. So I was glad to be in the building for that. So with that said, guys, let us break down the draft. So here's how I'm going to play this, guys. I'm going to talk about each of the 12 teams. I'll talk about, a bunch of them have multiple picks, obviously, whether it be in the first round, the second round, and go on and so forth. So I will just break it down that way, what each team did, the roster currently, and things like that moving forward. All right, so without any hesitation, let's get into it. We will start with the Indiana Fever. And of course, we know they had the number one pick, which they used on Caitlin Clark of Iowa. The town's all abuzz. I saw some of her press conference. I saw the press conference with Coach Christy Sides and also GM over there, Lynn Dunn. So, everybody's raving about Caitlin Clark, and rightfully so. She's a generational talent who should come in. And, on the live, I talked about how the difference between critique and straight hating. And, it's running the gamut these days. You get people saying she's going to come in the league, she's going to do well. You get some who say, she may struggle a bit. Well, we have to wait and see. And if you think about the history of the WNBA, there has been stars from college coming in. Most recent example I could think of is even last year, Aaliyah Boston. I actually thought she wasn't going to win the Rookie of the Year, but she really proved me wrong. She played very well, guys. She played very well. She was very efficient. And lo and behold, she ended up making the All-Star game. That's how well she played, guys. So do I expect the same? Actually, if form holds and Caitlin, she will start over there. Make no mistake about that. That's being Captain Obvious. But I would say if she comes in and she plays to her abilities, she's not going to score 30 a night, guys. So you can forget about that. She's going to play within a team concept over there. I would say she can probably drop 18 a game. That's fine. That's fine. If she does that, that's enough to, warrant you at least all-star consideration. So I think she could do that. I think she could come in and drop 18 a game. I think that. Because you got to remember, she's not going to be in a place with like Iowa where, it's pretty much her and maybe a player here and there. You got two of their players who were all-stars last year between Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell. So this whole notion of her coming in and dropping 30 per game, that I don't see that. And then also, too, you got to remember, besides Boston and Mitchell, they also have Nalissa Smith, who's a former number one pick herself in the draft. Also, Erica Wheeler, she's still there. Grace Berger. Remember Grace Berger last year? She was supposed to be the local girl coming in, manning that point guard position, in fact. But now, of course, you have Caitlin Clark. So what happens with Grace Berger, I'll be interested to see what happens with her in that regard. Lexi Hall, you still have there. Also, Katie Lou Samuelson, and also Emmanuel Zawi B. So this team, you have some talent there. And like I said, Caitlin, I don't think she's going to be the 30-point a game person, but she'll drop 18 a game, and that's fine. That's fine for that system. That's okay. So that's what I see from Caitlin Clark coming in. I think the assists will be there because you're playing with much better players, so the assists will be there. I think she can average anywhere from 6 to 8 assists with this team here. And then also, too, they drafted Celeste Taylor. And Celeste Taylor, she is out of Ohio State. 5'11", actually, guard. And a person who can defend. She's known for being able to defend, and she can also score the ball. So I think she'll be a perfect complement to Caitlin Clark. Definitely that. So, and then they had one other pick in the third round, Leilani Correa out of Florida. But here's what I want to address also, guys. It was like after the draft, I think it was Sportstac. They went out there and posted what Caitlin Clark was going to make for the next 4 years in terms of her WNBA salary. I thought that was low taste. I thought, okay, we had the draft, we had the buzz, we had the excitement, and then now you're going to go out there and post her salary. I thought that was weak sauce there. What's the need to do that? And let's keep it a buck, guys. NBA draft last year, Wemby was the first pick, and then the subsequent other players went. Did we see his salary posted that very next day? No. We only do this because we want to make light of the women's salaries. We want to, I don't know if I want to say shame, but we want to cast aspersions on the league itself for these salaries that these ladies are making. And I if you can't see there's a disparity in that, you got to open your eyes, guys, because there's nothing cool about that. So with that said, I thought it was a weak move, and now it's fodder for the talking heads to opine about and so forth. And do they deserve more money? I would say so. I would definitely say so, but it comes with revenue. Are the owners kind of pocketing the money and not giving it to the players as they should? You can make an argument for that too. So, but it's all about eyeballs on the product. And I was listening to Nightcap with my guys, Unk, Shannon Sharp, and Chad Ochocinco, and they were talking about that. And they actually brought up a subject that I harped on maybe a few weeks ago, maybe about a month ago, about women supporting the WNBA. If enough, because I know guys who actually support it, and that's fine and good, but it's the women that need to support it, need to get behind it. And I think if you have enough women to really support it, and I was actually listening to, I saw a clip rather of a show. I'm blanking on the name. And one of the callers said they should run a hashtag, turn on the WNBA to get women to watch. Just turn it on, turn the game on. You don't have to sit and watch it. Just have it on. And I thought that was kind of ingenious, because you're in the house, you're doing other stuff. Just have the game on in the background. You can mute it. You can do whatever you need to do in the house, because they count the TVs that are turned on for the game. So if you have enough TVs turned on for the game, that means revenue. Revenue means more money for the ladies. So I thought it was ingenious, to be honest with you. But yeah, so I definitely feel the ladies should get more money. But all that comes with revenue. Also, buying the merchandise. Buy the merchandise, guys, for the respective teams in your town or a town close to you. Buy the merchandise. That's another way to drive up revenue and get these ladies paid. So It's a variety of things that one can do. And before I leave the Indiana Fever, I just want to say shame on you, Greg Doyle. I heard the what he had to say in the press conference, and it had to do with Caitlin Clark. After each game, she does a heart emoji that she does to her family, and whatever it means to them is between them, and that's fine and good. For you to go and do the heart emoji and ask her ask her about it, you you could have made it simple. You could have said, Caitlin, I noticed you do the heart emoji after every game. What is the meaning behind that? That's a legitimate question. For you to go and say that you you would like her to do it to you, that is pedo behavior. And that's no good. And it's unprofessional and it's inappropriate. And then he goes on Twitter to make his apology. I'll read it. This is what he says. Today, in my uniquely oafish way, while welcoming Caitlin Clark to Indy, I formed my hands into her signature heart. Doyle wrote, my comment afterwards was clumsy and awkward. You think? I sincerely apologize. Please know my heart, literally and figuratively, was well intentioned. I will do better. So, of course, he does a mea culpa after, social media kills him and pretty much everybody else does. So he does a mea culpa. So, is it a fireable offense? I would say not, but you got to be more mindful. I'll just put it that way. So with that said, I spent enough time on the Indiana Fever. I think they'll be fine next year. I'll give my predictions later on, but that's how their draft went. Let's move on to the Los Angeles Sparks, and they had a pretty fine draft, guys, with the second pick. Now, I know I had predicted that they should go with Rickea Jackson second and then come back around for Cameron Brink, but they did it in reverse and they still got the right outcome. So with the second pick, they take Cameron Brink of Stanford, of course, the defensive dynamo, the star player over there. And then with the fourth pick, they took Rickea Jackson. And I tell you what, both of those ladies, I'll definitely be keeping an eye on the Los Angeles Sparks to see those ladies there. Rickea Jackson, she has a full offensive bag. She can also defend as well. So I think they form a formidable front court over there for the Aces. The Aces who, not the Aces, I'm sorry, the Sparks, the Los Angeles Sparks. And on the roster, remember Aneka Awumake. She's now with the Seattle Storm. Her sister's still there, but is her sister still going to play? I mean, she's more of a media person now to me than anything else, and she's sustained injuries over these past couple of seasons. So will she play over there again? That remains to be seen. Maybe she's ready to move on to greener pastures. I don't know. And still you have over there players like Azura Stevens. You got De'Erica Hamby, of course, coming over from the Aces about a year ago. So you have her there. Zaya Cook, your point guard over there. Also, you have Kia Nurse, Laisha Clarendon, also Monique Billings as well. So you got some pieces there, but bringing in Brink and Jackson, that's going to be a major boost to that program over there. And then in the third round, you stay local, bringing in a Mackenzie Forbes of USC. I thought it was really cool when actually it was Cheryl Miller who announced it for the Sparks that they were picking Mackenzie Forbes. I thought that was really cool, kind of full circle. One of her own alumni going to the Sparks. I thought that was nice. So, yeah, but all in all, I think they did find the Los Angeles Sparks, and there'll be a team I'll be keeping an eye on, that's for sure. Moving on, the Chicago Sky. Chicago Sky, remember, they now have a new regime over there, Teresa Weatherspoon, and I'm just excited about what's going to happen over there. They went out and with the third pick, they drafted Camila Cardoza, of course, of South Carolina, the 6'7" center, who's a presence inside, to say the least. And then with the 7th pick in the draft, they got Angel Reese, of course, of LSU, a champion, walking double-double, if you will, and somebody who's definitely going to bring eyeballs to that program there. So, and it's funny because you have two rival players. They've been playing against each other since high school. That's what Angel said in the press conference. And the fact that they'll be teaming up together, I think that's pretty cool. So I'll be definitely seeing those twin towers over there and how they play off each other. Of course, Cardozo will be the center there, and Reese will be more of the power forward, which means she's got to get her face-up jumper game right, which she has been working on, so I give her a lot of credit there. She hired herself a skills coach, so it looked like she's doing the requisite things to improve in that regard. So you got to give her a lot of credit, guys. So with that also, they also picked in the second round Brina Maxwell coming out of Gonzaga, a 6-foot guard there. So you have some help in the backcourt there. Already on the team, you have Elizabeth Williams, who was their center last year. So I'd be interested to see how she fits in this mix. Diamond DeShields, who they got back now with the Sky. Marina Marbury, you also have her there. Marbury, that is. You have her. Yeah, I think she'll have a bounce back season next season. Brianna Turner, you have. Dana Evans, your dynamo guard coming off the bench. Shanity Carter, and also Michaela Anaware, who you got from Phoenix, in fact, in that Kalia Copper deal. Remember Kalia Copper? She got sent over to the Phoenix Sun, the Phoenix Mercury. Sorry, so Phoenix Mercury she got sent to. So she's one of the players that came back there. So I expect Teresa Weatherspoon, her first stint as a head coach. Definitely looking forward to that. And I was able to see her phone call that she made to Angel Reese. I thought it was really nice. They were very welcoming of Angel Reese. And I thought that was nice. So with that said, that's the Chicago Sky. Next, we'll talk about the Dallas Wings. They were able to draft J.C. Sheldon, the guard, 5'10" guard out of Ohio State, star player over there. So you get somebody you could put in the backcourt along with Arike Ogunbowale, and I think she will play off Ogunbowale very well. Also, too, you got also in that draft Carla Leichy out of France. She's a 5'9" guard. I was watching clips of her, and she reminds me of a fellow person from France, Marie Johannes, but she doesn't have the 3-point prowess that Johannes has. I think she's more between Johannes and like a Tisha Pinachero. She has that kind of passing ability. But I would be interested to see whether she will be with the club, because remember, this is the year of the Olympics. So could she possibly be with the Olympic club playing for the gold medal? We'll see. If that's the case, she'll probably be a stash for them. And then also, too, in the third round, they got Ashley Owusu, another guard, 6-foot guard out of Penn State. So it looks like the Dallas Wings went guard heavy, guys, which I was kind of surprised, but it is what it is. I already talked about Gumbawale, Crystal Dangerfield. You still have there Natasha Howard, of course, in the front court. Tierra McCowan, Kalani Brown, who came on for them, and of course Sato Sabali. Now we have to see with that shoulder, guys, how soon she comes back from that. Also, two over there, you got Maddie Segrist, the high draft pick from a year ago. Also, Lou Lopez Senechal, who you got from UConn, another pick from last year, and Veronica Burton as well. So this is a team that went to the playoffs last year. You probably need a piece there, here or there. And I think Sheldon fits the bill for what they need. So we'll see what happens there. Let us move on, guys. The Washington Mystics. Now, guys, at pick number 6, it could have went either way. You could have went Reese, possibly bringing her home to Washington. You could have went that route, but the Mystics chose not to do so. They instead went with Aaliyah Edwards out of UConn, the 6'3" forward for them, who also can play in the post also. A player who probably at this stage has a bigger offensive bag than Angel Reese right now. And I think that's probably the reason they lean more towards Edwards than Reese. But, it could be one of those things where it comes back to haunt them one day, but that's the choice they made. But Edwards is a fine player nonetheless, guys. And then also in that draft, they were able to get, they got in the second round, Kaylin Truong out of Gonzaga, a 5'8" guard. And then later in the draft, they drafted a player out of Belgium, a forward, Natia Clausens, they were able to get. So, but remember, guys, with Washington, you lost Natasha Cloud. She's now with the Phoenix team now, with the Phoenix Mercury. So she's there. You also have Elena Deladon sitting out for the year. So yeah, that in consideration as well. So they need pieces, guys. They were able to bring in free agency Stephanie Dolson, the center who last played with the New York Liberties, a player with championship pedigree, whether it be in college or in the pros. Also, too, you still have Shakira Austin there. You have Ariel Atkins, Brittany Sykes, who was a great pickup for them last year. Also, you got via trade midseason, Queen Egbo. Also, you have Christy Tolliver, Myasia Hines Allen, and Dee Dee Richards is making the comeback. So you have her as well. So that Washington team still will be formidable, I think. But you need a healthy Shakira Austin. She missed about half of the season with an injury. So you're definitely going to need her. That's for sure. But Washington's, they'll be in the mix, guys. They'll be in the mix. You definitely know that. So we'll just see how it all plays out for them. Moving on, let's talk about Minnesota, the Minnesota Lynx. They only had a couple of picks in this draft, guys, but the one pick I absolutely love, Alyssa Peely, a player who 6'2", forward for coming out of Utah, and a player who, for her size, she gets a lot done inside, guys. She has outside game as well. She has a absolute full offensive bag, guys. And I'll be very interested to see how she fits into that Minnesota program. But she's a player who I think is going to scream for attention. You're going to have to play her, guys. And her transition, I think she can make an impact right away. That's how good she is, guys. And then remember, too, you got a roster over there with Naphesia Collier. They're a fine player over there. Also, you brought in Courtney Williams, coming from the Chicago Sky, dynamite guard, point guard. Natisha Heidelman, you also brought her into your program. Kayla McBride is still there. Alana Smith. And then remember the 2 draft picks you had last year. Diamond Miller, who I thought she would be kind of a rookie of the year type. She came along very slow. Then she had the injury that kind of slowed her down a bit. So she was kind of tentative early on, and then even coming off of that injury. So I'll be interested to see how she fits into what they do. And then Dorka Juhas, had a very good rookie campaign over there. I expect her to do more of the same this year. So that team is a team to watch, guys. I think that, and bringing in a Peely definitely helps your program, that's for sure. So we'll see what happens there. Moving on to the Connecticut Sun, who didn't have a first. Oh, no, they did have a first round pick. I'm sorry. It was Layla Lacan. And this is another French player, guys. But from what I just read, she will not be playing in the W next year because she's preparing for the Olympics for her French team. So this is a player now that won't be in your program next year and will be kind of a stash until next year. And some people say, oh, that's great. There may not have been room for her anyway. Perhaps, but I'll say this, you probably, if you knew she was going to sit out for the Olympics, maybe you wouldn't have drafted her. Maybe you drafted a guard who you know will be available, somebody like a Nika Mole, who, oh, by the way, played in Connecticut for Gino Auriemma. So that you kind of dropped the ball with that, but well, who am I to say? Anyway, but also too in that draft, they were able to get Tiana Jackson, a 6'6" center out of Kansas. And you definitely want some insurance just in case, because Brianna Jones, remember, she tore up her knee last year. So I haven't heard anything otherwise saying that she won't be ready for the season. But, you always want to have insurance in that regard. And then also they were able to pick a couple more players. One player, Helena Poyoy, I'm sorry. And she's from Spain, but she did play at the University of Arizona, a 6-foot guard. She has very quick hands, guys. She can defend, and she has great anticipation. So this is a player who fits right into what Stephanie White likes to do, especially on defense. And the other player was Abby Sue, a player actually from Columbia. So this is actually the first Ivy League player drafted in the WNBA. Wow. And she's a 5'11" guard. But looking at that roster there, of course, you have the engine, Alyssa Thomas, along with Dewana Bonner, who's coming back. She re-signed back with them. Dejanay Carrington, their fine player coming off the bench. I imagine this year she'll probably start. Mariah Jefferson, who's back in Connecticut again. Shea Petty is over there. Jocelyn Willoughby, Tasia Harris, and also Rachel Banham. And then remember, guys, Tiffany Hayes, she retired. So you no longer have her. And then Rebecca Allen actually left in free agency and she went to Phoenix. So you definitely have space for players to move up in that program. So we'll see what happens there. Moving on, my New York Liberty. Well, guys, they had an interesting draft. Let's say that. They did pick with the 11th pick, Marquisia Davis out of Ole Miss. This is a guard who played for Coach Yao over there at Ole Miss. So you know this girl is going to be able to defend. She's 6 feet tall, a guard. So, and I heard comparisons that she compares to a Kalia Copper. If that's the case, you're on to something, guys. If she has that kind of ability. So, and then remember too, guys, the New York Liberty got absolutely destroyed by the Las Vegas Aces backcourt. So you're going to need somebody to come in there and defend, that's for sure. Yeah, I think Marquisia fits that bill, guys. Also in the draft, they were able to get Ismary Martinez out of Arizona, a 6'2" forward, out of the Dominican Republic, by the way. So now you have a fan base up there. You'll see Washington Heights making the trip to Brooklyn to watch their girl play, that's for sure. And then also too, late. Now, here's where I thought the Liberty kind of dropped the ball. You took at the 23rd pick, Jessica Carter. She's a center, 6'5", out of Mississippi State. But right after that went Elizabeth Keatley, who we last saw, she tore up her knee late in the season for Virginia Tech. She's a 6'6" center. one who was dropping 22 points per game, 8 rebounds. So I thought this was a perfect opportunity for the Liberty to draft a player like this and stash her for the following season. Because this kind of talent doesn't grow on trees, guys. To get a Keatley, I thought that was the better move. I understand, I get it. Jessica Carter, she's more of a defensive presence inside. Maybe you thought you need that more than you did maybe sitting and waiting for Keatley. But I thought you should have went the other way with that. That's just me. But hey, they took Carter. We'll see if Carter even sticks with the program. We'll see. And then in the third round, they got Caitlin Davis, forward, another 6'2" forward out of USC. Here's what I thought the Liberty could have did. At the top of that second round, I would have reached out and made a trade with Chicago and try and swap spots with Chicago. And then with that pick Nika Mule out of Connecticut. This is a guard who we saw on the biggest stage in the Final Four completely shadow Caitlin Clark in that game. I thought that was, you could have still had Marquisia because you still need a guard who can defend. But I thought you needed another guard who can defend, and also Courtney Vandersloot is not going to play forever, guys. She's actually kind of long in the tooth when it comes to point guard age. So this Mule would definitely been somebody you can look towards the future with. You can groom her to step in when Sluty is done, but what do I know? But nonetheless, I'm not the GM of the New York Liberty, so who am I to say? But nonetheless, that's why I thought they could have did. That's why I said it was pretty interesting what they did on draft night. Let us move on, guys. Got 4 more teams to talk about, then I'm done. The Atlanta Dream. They picked at the end of the first round, and they took, going to try and pronounce his name here, Nardayar Pouch. And this is a player out of Australia, a 6'3" forward. She played in the WNBL league over there in Australia. 19 years old. So this is a player with definitely some promise ahead of her. I watched clips of her, guys, and to me, she compares to a shorter version of Awa Koyer out of Finland, who plays for the Dallas Wings, and she's actually sitting out the year because she's representing her country of Finland. But her game, that's who her game reminds me of. Very long, can get out there, can run like a deer, can definitely defend, plays defense well. She got the long arms, and she got a bit of an offense there as well. She has a little mid-range there as well. So this is a player who definitely could fit into what Atlanta does. Atlanta likes to run and gun. So this is a pick where, it's a roll of the dice, guys. But she's so young, so full of promise. So definitely a pick that can pan out down the road. Already you have on that squad, before I even go there, let me tell you who else they got. They got a player from Australia, Isabel Borlays. They got her as well, a 5'11" guard, and she's a bit of a scrappy guard. I was looking at the clips for her. She gets in there. She can defend. She can get hands on. And that's what I took from the clips I saw of her. And then also, too, they were able to pick in the third round Matilda Villa out of Italy. So basically, the Atlanta Dream went international with their picks. But right now on the roster, of course, you have your star player, Ryan Howard. Also, Alyssa Gray there, Cheyenne Parker. Oh, by the way, all three of them made the All-Star team. Also, you brought in Jordan Canada, much needed help to run the show over there. You brought in Tina Charles, also a veteran who's still looking for that elusive WNBA championship. So you brought her in there. Also, Asia Dura. And then Haley Jones, of course, your draft pick from last year. Let's see how she develops this year, guys. And then also, you still have Danielle Robinson over there and Letitia Amahir. Also, another player that was a draft pick from last year out of South Carolina. So Atlanta, they still poised to do some things over there. Tanisha Wright, the coach over there, we'll see what she does in that regard. The Seattle Storm. The Seattle Storm had a busy off season, bringing in the likes of Aneka Onwumike and also Skylar Diggins-Smith. But in the draft, they were able to get Nika Mole of the UConn Huskies. Of course, I just talked about her. And oddly enough, a point guard coming into a program that had Sue Bird, another UConn guard who manned that position for many years over there for them. So it's funny how things work out, right? So she comes into your program. And then also in the third round, you picked Mackenzie Holmes, a 6'3" forward out of Indiana. And as I said, the Storm brought in Onwumike and Skylar. You already have over there Jewel Lloyd, your sensational guard. Ezzy Magbegor, your fine defensive center over there. Jordan Harston, who was a rookie last year. Let's see what she does this year now. Gabby Williams is there. Sammy Whitcomb, your player who can launch it from three. So you have some solid pieces there, but Nika Mole, I think, will come in there and endear herself with what's going on over there. She'll be a solid guard coming off their bench and somebody you can groom for the future. So kudos to the Storm for that. The Las Vegas Aces. You talk about the rich getting richer, guys. Good gracious. They made out like they were picking in the first round. Mind you, their first pick wasn't until pick 16. At pick 16, they got Diasia Fair out of Syracuse. 5'5" guard, so a small guard, but she ends up being the third highest scorer in NCAA history. That's how good she was, guys. So she goes into this perfect situation for her with all these guards that she can learn behind. And I mean, the Las Vegas Aces over there, they're playing chess and everybody's playing checkers. Go figure. So they bring her in. Then they also get Elizabeth Keatley, who I was just talking about. They pick her right after the Liberty take the center out of Mississippi State. So they have this center now they can stash and keep away. Because remember, too, you got Candace Parker coming back, and you know she's probably on the back nine of her career. So You have somebody you could stash away for the future. And then also they were able to get in the draft Kate Martin, who they got even before that. Kate Martin out of Iowa, who, she now gets to kind of stand on her own, guys, coming into the Las Vegas Aces program. So she kind of gets a chance over there. So we'll see what happens with her. And then in the final pick of the draft, they took a player out of a HBCU, Angel Jackson, who played for Jackson State, a 6'5" center. So, but the Aces are so deep, so we'll see what happens with her. And of course, that squad has Aja Wilson, the best player in the WNBA, pretty much. Chelsea Gray, your floor general over there. Jackie Young, the silent assassin. Kelsey Plum, the plum dog, of course. I talked about Candace Parker. Alyssa Clark, who's your sixth player of the year. You have her over there. Kia Stokes, their solid big up front who just does the dirty work and make Aja's life very much easy on the inside. Kirsten Bell, who's seems like every year she seems to blossom over there. Raquana Williams, who will be coming back. She sat out the whole year last year, guys. So we'll see what happened with her. And of course, their mainstay, Sydney Colson, of course, who brings comic relief to that team. But she stepped up when Chelsea Gray went down with the injury, guys. So she still has value over there for that club. But, of course, Becky Hammond running that ship over there, doing a fine job. But you're bringing in all this rookie talent along with the talent you already got. Man. Again, the rich get richer. And then lastly, I'll talk about the Phoenix Suns. I keep saying the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Mercury with their two picks. They were able to get in the third round Charisma Osborne, who I thought fell in this draft, but I think at the third round, this is a steal, guys. 5'9" guard out of UCLA. She was one of the catalysts over there for that club. So the Mercury was able to get her. I thought that was a nice get that late in the draft. And then also in that same round, Jazz Shelley, who they got from Nebraska, another 5'9" guard. So you have some backcourt help there. Of course, you have on the club already Diana Taurasi, who another player on the back nine of her career. Brittany Griner, of course, who you were able to re-sign and bring back. You traded for Kalia Copper. You got her from the Chicago Sky. I think she's going to be a fine addition over there, guys. Rebecca Allen, who you got in free agency from the Connecticut Sun. Sophie Cunningham, who's still there, your sharpshooter over there. And Natasha Cloud, who you got from the Mystics, a floor general for them. And then Morgan Birch, the promising young big as well. So it'll be an interesting time over there. You got a new coaching staff over there, so we'll see what happens there. But this is a team I wouldn't sleep on them, that's for sure, especially bringing in the likes of Copper and Allen and Cloud. I think Phoenix could be in for a bit of a renaissance over there. So I would keep an eye on them. All right, guys. So I think that's going to do it for this episode here. We're able to cover all the ground we needed to cover. And guys, I'm just excited for the season ahead. Of course, I'll do my WNBA season preview. I'll give you that. And then all the happenings that goes along with that. Of course, you know, there's going to be some significant cuts going up into the season. So we'll see what happens there. You got players that still playing overseas. We'll see how they get incorporated in. And then remember, the Olympics will be played as well. So you'll have that to think about. And the All-Star game, remember, will be the U.S. Olympic team versus the WNBA All-Stars. So I'll be very interested to see how that shakes out also. All right, guys. So that is it for me. As always, I thank you for listening. Always appreciate it. All things basketball with gd.com. That's the website. That sportsdude gd at gmail.com. That's how you can email me. Of course, I'm on all the platforms. YouTube, I'm there. All things basketball GD. IG, that's where I mostly live and hang out there. Facebook, I'm on there as well. I got my group there. Twitter or X or whatever you call it. We're in a love-hate relationship, let's put it that way. TikTok, I do my little videos there and so forth. But all the podcast platforms, you find me there. Support the show, guys. There's many ways to do it on the website. You could do it there. My CashApp, gdthatsportsdude. If you want to send a love offering here, we welcome that also. And that's pretty much it. I thank you for listening as always. Always appreciate it. And we'll talk soon. Take care.